God. I'm so excited, Ryan.
Got shit to do.
Yeah. You said we need to be prompt, Luke.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so let's recap real quick how we got here on a Monday, the three of us. So first, Luke reached out and he said, "Hey guys, I'd like to invite myself over to one of your places to watch back-to-back Chelsea
Doubleheader.
Doubleheader. Like, not even just one game. He's like, let's watch 3 hours of soccer together.
Let's do your place, not mine.
I will not host.
I would never invite you over my house.
I'm coming over to one of your places." And then he followed that up by saying, We're both like, yeah, sure, let's do that. There was even like, Luke was like, "I miss seeing you guys. We never hang out." There was added emotional scaffolding to this. to this. And then,
hey, at least I can emotionally scaffold.
Some
fucking
Luke was really putting himself out there.
Out here.
Yeah, unlike somebody on this podcast.
And then I don't know if this is what you had in mind with kicking the episode off, by the way, Derek. I know you said you had thoughts.
I've got other tidbits. I don't see the stream up, by the way.
I've been thinking about
not to cut off our momentum here. Sorry, what was it, Luke?
It's up.
Is it? Okay. I just can't see. My internet's probably
It says it's live but unstable. I don't know.
Probably my internet.
Anyway.
It's like, that's a descriptor of my internet, actually.
Maybe it's something with Riverside.
Your internet or somebody behind the internet?
So then 5 minutes later, Luke is like, "Well, I might be able to do this. My parents are coming in town." And so like within 10 minutes starts backing off this idea. Yep. Starts his way out.
Ryan's like, "Hey, let me just back up here. Whose idea was this for us to get together in the first place?"
It was to be fair.
No.
My parents didn't just come to town. My mother moved to Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect them to come, and about 5 minutes after I said that, I got a text from my mom saying, "Well, we're coming this week, guys." So, to give myself like a little, latitude, but I don't really deserve any, so.
Yeah. So then like a few days later, we were sharpening up the plan. So like, where are we doing this at? Are we getting food? Are we drinking? What? And Luke's like, "Just so we're clear, I'm not committed to this idea." And that's when I was like,
my status is questionable.
Whose fucking idea was this?
Hey, at least I tried for 2 days.
So then, Sunday morning we get a text in the morning that he's out, and I'm like, "All right, well, or maybe Saturday night," and I was like, "Well, maybe you can make it to the recording." So I'm like, "Hey, can you still make it to the recording? What time works for you, if so?" And he says 3:00. Literally,
3:00 comes
after the Tottenham goes down by a goal. Like
to be fair, I think it was right before that, but I'm sure it was.
It was after. It was after
I'm
because
sure it was.
I know it was after because as the goal was scored in the Discord, I said, "Luke's status has been downgraded to doubtful for the podcast today."
Yeah.
And then your text came in, and I said, "Actually, he's just out."
He's out.
He's now out.
To be fair, there is no correlation between the two. Because
no, things just happen to unravel and sit in real time in sync with each other.
That part I do believe. I do believe that there is no correlation, but the way it all played out was just so fucking funny.
Hey,
and
I'm here now, okay?
Dude, people in Discord are like totally in on it. They just
all five.
Dude, yeah, they like. You being a shit show with this podcast has become it's like a character in itself.
Good. I like that. I'm glad I can provide something interesting to this boring, shithead talk fest over here.
On one of Shannon's soccer teams, she mentioned your unreliability with the podcast to someone named Lucas. And I guess he was like, I'd be on the podcast if he can't make it. And I thought it would be so fucking funny to replace Luke with Lucas.
Yeah.
Just like Luke number 2.
I think we wouldn't even like introduce it. We'd be like, yep, we've got Lucas here this week. And just like move, like not acknowledge the fact that Luke's gone.
Well,
yeah.
I'm just going to go back to straight up telling you guys I don't want to see you.
I've got some follow up on that topic too.
This set the new bar for your flakiness.
You know, it's funny.
But if you plan to play tennis with Shannon, you're there every time.
I'm really not a flaky person. That's the thing about it.
It is personal. It is actually personal.
That's true. I did meet up with Luke last Friday or whatever that was. And like Luke did say the day before that 2 days before maybe that he would be around, and then he showed up.
Yeah,
it wasn't on time, but I mean, he had when I texted him, he had clearly forgotten that he had committed to hang out with me, but he did show up after I texted him.
We saw him at the Under Oath show.
Yeah, I showed up at the Under Oath show.
It's true. He committed to that before Ryan even remembered him committing to it. Yeah. Luke had to remind you that he committed to it.
Well, like, listen, I think I am.
Derek's in my corner.
I think I'm on firm ground here. Somebody, I think it might have been Derek, was like, "Aren't one of those tickets for Luke?" And I was like, "Yeah, he said he wanted one, but like, who fucking like? I'm not counting on that." And then like 2 days before the show, you were like, "Do you still have a ticket for me?" And I was like,
"Yeah, how am I supposed to plan my life around things Luke commits to?"
How is this the one time? Like, how many shows has Derek bought tickets to for Luke and Lucas?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Just one time. That's funny.
Anyway, all right, we could talk. We could launch into some. Derek,
I'm glad I have some whiskey with me today. It's the shit on Luke episode. Not that I don't deserve it though.
Oh, wait till you have hear the other things I want to bring up.
We still got to talk about Tottenham.
No, yeah, I'm not even interested in talking about Tottenham. Luke's talking.
Oh man, yeah.
Boy.
All right. Well, what do you got, Derek? Let's launch. You said you had some stuff to bring up.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that, so on the topic of, like, Luke responding to the text chains or group threads or discords, it's funny because, like, the team was asking how I got another staph infection. And while the real answer is it's because I showed up on this show, as everybody knows, last week without showering and then contracted a staph infection. I told the team it was because Luke won't let me shower with him immediately after the games. And Shannon immediately was like, well, the best part about this is Luke doesn't even read this chat, so he's never going to see this. This is the team chat, by the way. The group me chat.
As you left that game, I was like, I don't want to do that fucking podcast. As you walked by, and you didn't even you didn't even hear me. I was really disappointed. But
the game today?
I talked to Shannon. Last week. I talked to Shannon at the sideline, and she was like, "I don't think Luke's interested in running home to do the podcast."
Hey, I did today, and we tied today instead of losing, Derek.
Yeah, because I wasn't there. So I mean, that's the difference. You guys don't need me. That's what I'm trying to tell you all season. But anyways, So I don't. I forget what was it. There was a busy weekend. I started coaching Volo kids, which is
we can talk about
that. Should be a running. Sure. I don't know how much.
What background check did you fucking?
Yeah, I passed it. They do one. As they should.
I'm really
and I passed it. Yep. Yeah. I beat that, or I paid the right people off. But yeah, it was fun. But then so then it's good because it gets my day started with something other than.
I don't think Levi listens to this podcast, but I don't know what's worse: children learning soccer from Levi, or children learning anger management. From
there's no. I mean, for whatever reason, like, I'm able to, disassociate the on-field persona from the coach persona.
Okay.
And
it'd be something I'd never seen before. But
yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I have actual
while you were injured.
Well, yeah, but that was coaching a bunch of assholes against another bunch of assholes, and a bunch of assholes reffing. The kids are innocent.
Yeah. So when Derek blew his knee He gets
second
mad
time.
at me if I don't get the exact injury correct. It's meniscus, right?
Yeah,
Tor-
among other things.
Yeah. Tore his meniscus, was like waiting for a donor, and he spent a couple seasons, I think, coaching our team that we played for. And he led the league in red cards, I think, 2 seasons in a row while coaching us. Yeah. And now he's teaching
now I'm
kids.
coaching kids, yeah.
Soccer.
But
yeah,
no,
coaching
it's I can tell you unequivocally it's better than Levi teaching kids anything about any sport. But anyways.
Teaching kid back heels. You don't need your left foot.
I don't
forget about your left foot.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, luckily we're trying to root all that out. But so after that, it cuts into my daytime drinking, which is good because Shannon's been telling me I need to cut down my drinking. But I did go to a Maryland Spirit event at Sagamore. I've been to a couple events at Sagamore. They've been outside. That was really nice. But then I realized that I had missed out on another event in D.C. that Luke was working. Barbecue and Bourbon, I believe it was. Is that correct, Luke?
It was barbecue and barrels.
Oh, barrels. Okay. And Ryan, I'm not sure if this happened to you, but it turns out that my invite was lost in the mail. And so I just wanted to check with you on the pod if that was an issue you ran into as well.
You got to remind me of these things, man.
Yeah, I've been real with you. I just assume he doesn't want to be seen with me. Maybe you should start. Okay. Maybe you should start the acceptance process.
I shouldn't blame the USPS for this one.
I had 2 free tickets too. Why did you read
this guy?
Do you know how many events that I do? If you want to look at my Outlook calendar.
The best part is like Derek just like live tweets all the like alcohol related events to Luke. To the muted chat that we have, we know that Luke has muted it.
I should actually find out if I've muted it.
Oh,
you are definitely muted.
Yeah, we're definitely muted. Yeah. I have to to get any answer out of you. I have to text you directly, and I'm pretty sure that is now muted.
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna mute Ryan.
I think he had. Yeah, no, I think he has you unmuted, Ryan, and I'm muted directly because I've asked him a couple things, and directly, and it's if I go to the group chat, he might respond to me. But okay, so we can put that behind us, I guess. And then interestingly as well, I came across today a woman who in her Hinge profile actually had a picture of her with Luke. But here's the thing: if I message her, am I supposed to acknowledge that? What do I refer to Luke as? My friend? Or do I use the terminology he introduces me with, as in hey, this fucker that I know that I play soccer with?
Why haven't I seen this picture?
Yeah, that's fair. Just take a screenshot.
Yeah, why didn't you take a picture?
Can Android phones do that?
I don't know.
You need to send me. What?
I don't make a habit of taking screenshots of Hinge profiles, but maybe in this case.
Luke, then it's
wow.
Fair.
Well, I was interested too to see if Luke knew it was being used. Yeah. Yeah, who the hell? And that's the other thing is what am I supposed to think about somebody that's using Luke in one of their pictures? But anyways,
that is.
I'm I need to know
flag.
I'll talk to you after the pod. I'll talk to you after the pod.
Really good, or does she look really good?
I'm giving that woman a wide berth. I'm going nowhere near her.
Yeah. To be honest, I
don't even worry about my relationship to Luke. Just move right past it.
Self-identifying agent of chaos is what I see.
I want to know who is using my picture on their Hinge.
Yeah, you can send that to him later, I guess. I don't know.
All right, well, that's everything I had to catch up on with Luke.
My favorite thing about the anti-alcohol back and forth between you and Shannon is that both sides are tilted. So you are on tilt over her auditing your alcohol consumption, and then when you mention it to me, I just send it straight to her, and she's like, "I said one thing."
It does sound about right. You guys hyperbolizing everything Shannon says, but you should continue to do that.
Yeah,
I'm afraid to face her.
Talk about soccer at some point.
This is much more interesting than talking about this last week.
Yeah, I guess we kind of did with Derek's. But Shannon, she told me early. I was sick as shit last week, crazy sick. I'm still clearing my lungs out. And I guess at some point she told me about this, but I forgot. and she like drove to the middle of nowhere in Virginia Friday afternoon and ran through the woods all night, like for 30 miles. She had mentioned that she needed to run 30 miles
By yourself?
No.
Okay.
Someone from her running team went. Yeah.
Okay.
That was my first question. So, yeah, I woke up Saturday and she was just texting me, and I was like, "Shouldn't you? Are you running right now? You said you had to run 30 miles." And she was like, "I did that already," and I was like, "It's like 6:30. What? Like, when did you run it?" And she was like, "Oh, I went last night. I just got home from I forget where, Harrisonburg."
That's like, well, I guess it's easier to drive there at night and in the early morning. But
Yeah.
fuck that.
But yeah, so I was just like, this is idiotic. Like, why did you do this? Like, get a hotel or something.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's bad.
that was
decision.
crazy. That was
And she
so
didn't show up to
crazy.
soccer today, so whatever.
Yeah, she's in
I would say
She's
that
top
shared Google
ship shape.
calendars.
She's in top shape. I would never say
yeah,
otherwise.
Yeah, it had nothing
So
to
she's
do with
tired as
that.
fuck. I'm gonna text
Yeah, it
her
had
about
nothing to
that
do
one.
with that. But
Anyway.
yeah, I found shared Google calendars help with that kind of thing. Though they're not really much of a predictor of relationship success, so maybe it doesn't.
Dude,
fucking
that's
matter.
another thing that went wrong with me. So, like, Google just this week decided that this is no longer a soccer podcast. But Google decided this week that there was suspicious activity on my account and just, like, completely locked me out.
Wow.
And then, like, wouldn't accept my phone or anything else as a recovery mechanism, even though I had it set up as such. And I was like, dude, I'm fucked. Like, everything is tied to this. My TV is tied. I have YouTube TV.
Yeah.
And it had just logged me out of everything. Anyway, I still don't know what was wrong with it. The only way I was... Because if you read online, like, people are like, if this happens to you, you're just fucked. You have to start over. But what saved me is the fact that I had YouTube TV. The fact that I was paying for a service from them, they would actually respond to my issue. If you're just, like, using Gmail and you've had the same account for, like, 10 years and they decide that something weird has happened with it, they'll just shut it down and you'll never have access to it again.
Shut it down.
Yeah. Anyway.
Raw.
All right.
Sorry, I've been
let's
watching lots
talk
of Hell's
about
Kitchen. You don't want to talk about Hell's
It's
Kitchen?
raw.
That's all I've been watching lately. It's Hell's Kitchen.
Dude,
Send it back.
on MasterChef, like, every season now, we just wait for that episode where
raw.
or not is it, MasterChef, not Top Chef. MasterChef is what Gordon's on, where he just, like, picks up a whole steak and fucking punts it somewhere because it's raw, like, on one of the offsites. Like, it's like become his signature move.
Does he
now.
actually kick it?
Yeah, dude.
I need to
Yeah.
check this. I want to watch that and the one where what's he do? Hotel Hell or something?
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
the best is if you watch early episodes of Gordon, he takes his shirt off every single episode at the beginning.
Oh.
to put
This
on his
just
chef,
got
to put on
interesting.
his chef coat every time he takes his
Let's
shirt off.
let's
It's
dive into that next time Luke's
Let's go.
next time Luke's on the show. Let's dive into that a little bit. I don't think
I
we have
love
time to
that.
ramble that here.
Yeah.
him and all of the TV chefs. I love them.
Yeah, we're pretty addicted to that shit. All right, let's talk about Man United. I really
Boring.
want to. You think this is boring?
You haven't even had to talk about the same dumb shit every
I'm
week
just
for the
so
last
excited
12
that
weeks.
Chelsea isn't the most interesting story in soccer. They're like,
They're
just like,
doing all right. Like playing
we don't have
well.
to talk about them at all today. It'd be fine. It
Yeah.
would be just like, we wouldn't even be negligent. It would be
Yeah.
just
True.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Man United, they got demolished by Tottenham, and I kind of just, like, the past, like, 2 weeks, Luke, since we haven't had you for a while, we kind of got our thoughts down last week. I don't know that mine is meaningfully changed in any way this week, but like, what are your thoughts about what's going on there? Do you think that Ten Hag, like, we've got to be in the end game with Ten Hag at this point, right? Like,
well, the real issue is that they shot themselves in the foot in the summer by rehiring him after going through that whole search of managers, right?
Yeah.
So from like an executive level, they've made a decision and they're trying to stick with it. They've also, invested so much money in those players, and they're Ten Hag's players for a fact.
All right,
they,
so
all picked by him, have played with him.
Yep.
And so they're kind of in they're in a really hard spot where it's like, what do? Pay $19 million or whatever to get him out, get in trouble, possibly lead to a financial issue. I think they're just in such a shit. Like, they're just waiting until the season's over, I assume. Like, if they don't get relegated, they're probably going to be jazzed up about it. At this point, if they don't fire him.
We were talking about this in the Discord, sort of. Like, we were having a conversation about Man United and Tottenham. There were a few people chiming in the Discord, and do you think that Tottenham has a better squad than Man United? Like, would you prefer Man United's squad? You can't pick and choose players.
Starting 11 or 23.
The whole 23.
I would probably take Tottenham's squad, but of course I'm lean in one way. I think Tottenham's squad is more talented and younger and a little more upside.
I don't even think it's close.
No, it's not close. Yeah,
I think
I don't. Maybe you're trying to be impartial, but it's a joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
But think about the money Man United has spent building that piece of shit.
And the wages. The wages.
What?
Well,
the wages per week of the comparably, you know?
Well, their financial model is so different because they have so much marketing money, right? So it's kind of like a different game. Players go to Man United.
True.
They're going to say, you can afford me to pay me this much, right? So it's a little different in terms of them versus other clubs their size, but I would probably take Chelsea's starting 11 for sure over Man United's. I think that if you talk about players who could play to their potential, then it's a harder discussion. But in terms of
Chelsea's starting 11 is in 4th place.
No. I'm talking just generally, right?
Yeah. I was comparing teams that are in relatively the same bucket.
I think it's still in the early in the season, but I might I don't know. There are a number of teams that are not Man United that I take their squad probably. I might take Brighton's squad.
But it's an interesting point, though, right? Because they're going to change the coach either mid-season or they're going to change the coach at the end of the season. It's not going to matter because the roster's dog shit.
Yeah. Well, there are good players in the squad, but they're not playing to their potential. And you see, Sancho, someone you probably try to eat my words on, right? You go from Man United. I know you've been holding that.
I would never.
It has not been held, by the way.
Yeah. you see Sancho, who underperforms and goes to Borussia Dortmund and then Chelsea and overperforms. I think it's less about the individual players and more about the setup, the manager, and the way they're trying to play. Antony aside, Antony is dog shit, right?
Xerxes also not good.
Xerxes not good. There's that young center back who is injured right now who should be a good player.
Lenny Yoro.
Yeah, Lenny Yoro has upside.
Destroyed his career by going to Man United.
Yeah. But you think of Diego Dallo is a pretty good Premier League outside back who can play on both sides. There are good players in there, but none of them are playing to the potential. Garnacho's a player that I would probably have on more than half, less than half. So how do I say that? I would have Garnacho on most top 6 sides, at least as a sub in, right? So players, I think there's quality there. It's just when you put them in that team and you look at the way they've performed, I wouldn't take any of those fucking bags of dog shit. Never do it.
The 2 standouts for me on that team are Garnacho and Bruno Fernandes.
I fucking hate Bruno Fernandes.
I know.
I'm over
I know
Bruno
you
Fernandes,
do.
man.
I know you do.
I don't like him either.
I don't like him
he's
either.
A good player.
He's good.
Terrible
and
player.
Captain of
He's a terrible
Manchester United.
Terrible captain.
It's like a diminishing asset. I just see it.
He's
30 years old. It's where's he gonna go?
I was thinking about this week. He might not he seems to me, if I watch Man United playing, he seems to me like the only player on that team who is still giving everything he has.
But making poor decisions like every week and getting sent off in 2 games in a row, whether or not the first one should be right. But really, and the whole game plan with United is to get Bruno Fernandes the ball in space.
Can you not say stuff like that on the pod? Because now I'm going to get hate mail from Harry Maguire's mom again.
Harry Maguire, who bailed them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, he died for the 3 points. He died for the 3 points.
What? Literally, I can respect that. But like De Ligt, like good player, is he gonna die for that fucking team? No.
Is De Ligt a good player?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's a fair question. But like Martinez, right? Not playing well.
Yeah.
He goes in for 2-footed challenges just for no fucking reason, right?
How? I gotta look into this. The announcer said, like, I watched Martinez. You probably remember this. He blew up. What's his name? The dickhead on your team.
James Maddison.
James Maddison. He like blew Madison up in that game, and my brother was like, "What the fuck?" My brother doesn't watch
get
soccer.
2 yellows, right? Like
and the announcer said that he's never been shown a straight red. They were like, he's always played on the edge, but I was like, how is that possible? This guy's a psycho. The way he flies into tackles, I don't know. Anyway,
I do think the team setup has hurt every player individually.
Yeah,
they're better players than they're playing. Like they're better players in the form they're in. I just think the setup is terrible. Ten Hag needs to go. It's just a question of when.
I watched them, and it's like nobody knows where they should be standing ever. And then like the press conferences from Ten Hag are bizarre. Like, he doesn't understand how bad it is. Like, I think he's dumb. Like,
Haven't you ever had a boss who just didn't know that they were fucking terrible at their job? I think that's what this is.
Yes.
Like, he is just like heaving and
I
hurling.
currently have one.
Which one of us is going to speak up first?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'm in the end game. I currently have one.
I mean, I change jobs every 2.5 years. So, I mean, yeah, there's a long list.
Yeah.
But it's just what it feels like. He's just not good at that job.
Dude,
him talking about like the cohesion of the team after they go out and are completely ineffective. Should have lost that game to Villa. And then you've got the players doing shit like Højlund's posting on his Instagram his celebration after a tie. It's like they just there's no sense of reality.
The amount of wasted talent on that team.
So that's how I feel.
Lenny Yoro could have waited a few months and gone to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Imagine that idiocy to do that.
Yeah, I think the hook is that United always, because of the stature of the club, for good or bad reasons, or for, because they deserve it or not, to players, it's always going to feel like that's going to turn around and they can be a part of it, right? So I don't blame players for going there, but I really blame the setup for not giving them a platform to succeed. Because, the management is terrible. Like, it's bad. And Rune van Nistelrooy is, ruining his Man United, legacy by being in that coaching staff. He's going to be the manager, I bet you. He's going in less than 2 months, Ruud is going to be the manager.
Tuchel?
No, I think it's going to be Ruud for the rest of the year. They're going to do the same thing they've done before. Keep all the staff so they don't have to pay him out. Keep Ruud on. Get rid of Ten Hag.
So that's I've been reading they're so up against it with PSR that they may not, after they extended Ten Hag, they might not be able to fire him.
Because Ratcliffe is just out there, firing support staff left and right?
Yeah.
People have been in the club for 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and you read this shit. I know I've said it on the podcast before, but former players go to second-tier teams and are the training facilities here are better than at United.
Oh yeah.
They get moved on to championship clubs, and
I don't think it's Radcliffe's fault.
Dire.
Because he's only been there for an amount of time, but
there.
I think nothing looks good, so
yeah,
I think they're going to continue to have boring draws like they did against Aston Villa and say it's a great result. Lose to teams like Tottenham 3-0 or 3-1 or whatever the fuck it was. Teams they shouldn't lose like that too. It's just, it's too bad. Fuck them. Fuck them all till they die.
Yeah.
There's a take, fresh take. We didn't do that one, so.
Make that a fucking soundbite, bitch.
I'm not sure we can use that one, Luke.
Okay, ma'am, calm down. What kind of shots?
So, Tottenham. Let's cover this then.
Yeah. Need pour some more.
Seemed like it was going
Brought
well.
to you by Green River.
Did you watch this live?
I did.
Did you hear what the announcer said as they returned from the half?
Yeah, I think everybody thought the same thing. It's pretty disgusting what happened. Yeah, it's pretty shameful. These players gave up. Honestly, they got shocked and they got fucking killed.
Yeah. Well, as they walked out, I thought
at halftime or full time?
At halftime.
Okay.
The announcer said something like the last time Tottenham had a 2-0 lead going into the half,
probably West Ham.
They lost. I think it was City.
Oh, I would think it was West Ham.
West Ham.
Lanzini shocker at the end of the game.
Maybe it was that. Yeah.
But I
know.
think it's pretty. I think it's pretty damning. I think I said before. I think really this team is a 6-7 team. It's really not a. I think it's a year away from really competing for the top four. I think I've been pretty clear about that.
Yeah. Yep.
And these are the kind of results you get with a team under Ange who isn't mature, who does that second half. I think Ange needs to fucking step it up and make some changes to control the game. Put Basuma, put Sarr in. Take Kulicheski out. It was just,
what is this? Explain to me. We talked about this a little bit last week. The attacking power, it's cool. It is
first half
fun. Yeah, dude, it's
amazing,
fun to watch.
Yeah.
But you have so much firepower out there.
Except Timo Werner. If you include Timo Werner in the idea of firepower,
I want to talk about him.
Dude.
But you've got Timbo, Slanky,
Johnson, Kulicheski, Madison, and Bentancur, who's not really. Bentancur is not really a defensive player.
Right.
I mean, he was playing as he basically thought it was an attacking.
He's not a right back.
Right, dude. Idogi gets up and down. He's more of a wing back too.
Attacking center back Van de Ven.
Yeah. Against United, just walks up the field, or actually sprints.
That was
very
badass
fast.
though. You can't fuck with that. That's
you can
impressive.
you can just step in his way.
You just foul him,
or do anything.
But it's still very
do anything at all. He just ran in a straight line, coast to coast.
And he is very fast.
Ugarte's controller disconnected or something. I don't know what the fuck happened.
It glitched. I just think that the team's not really matured in a significant way. I think that's on Ange. I think Ange needs to identify that they can still play progressive football with two holders.
Right.
I think, and it's hard for me to say, right? He's not going to change. He's a arrogant dude. He's going to fucking believe in what he's going to make, what the team is going to play with, and they're just not going to stop. And I think in the second half you see a team that is really vulnerable to the ups and downs. That's really the problem, right?
But what is another 2 years going to change about that?
I think a couple more players, getting players like Timo Werner out of the team. I think Timo Werner was a cheap option to fill a fourth slot, and we have Son and Odeberg injured, so it's kind of like him or Mikey Moore in that game, right? I would go Mikey Moore, but I don't know, right? I think that another center back, another winger, and a little bit more maturity in the team, maybe a better holding midfielder who has I like Bentancur a lot, but he's really not a 6. I think a couple more players.
Basuma, Sarr can play holding mid.
But Basuma, since he fucking huffed the laughing gas and posted it on Snapchat, Ange is pissed at that dude. You can tell.
I didn't even know about this shit.
Yeah,
what?
Yeah. He sent a public Snapchat by accident, and then took it down of him huffing laughing gas, like all these fucking players do in the off season.
They do?
No. This is a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Spurs players?
These might be the events that Luke doesn't invite us to.
Yeah, all right.
Him and Dele Alli when Dele Alli is in Distinct, that's right. But he did that, and he's just in the shit book
Oh
right
my
now.
god, what a fucking idiot.
Yeah, just like a stupid fucking bonehead move. And we had 1-6 on the spin, but if you would watch the games
We've got
versus
Noni calling Wolverhampton shit. Everything about this place is shit or whatever. Like,
and
yeah.
Basuma's huffing lap.
Jesus.
No,
All right.
I just the team's not balanced to be ahead in a game, right?
What
If you
about
can't-
Sarr? Like,
I don't know why he didn't sub him in. He subbed him in like the 79th minute.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, really?
because he can play holding mid. He's more defensive.
Well, he has more legs. He can get around the pitch a lot
Yeah.
better than Ben Madison or Kuliszewski can.
Is he like more of an 8?
He's a little more of an 8. Yeah, he's more of an 8
okay.
for sure. And I just think that
I've
going
always
in,
rated him. I think he's got a high ceiling, and I thought it looked like he was getting more minutes toward the end of last season, if I remember right. But
yeah,
he
I
hasn't-
think the idea is that Kuliszewski can play higher up, Madison can drop deep and play more of a quarterback in that kind of system, and it just
But he's
it's all out
not.
attack.
Madison is like he's been your best, like he's killer at beating the offsides trap. Like,
Yeah, I think it works in some games, works in other, doesn't work in others. This game had nothing to do with that. All of these things we can talk about in terms of the players stopped playing. I think that they saw the international break on the horizon or something like that. The first goal went in. You could see how broken Destiny was at the time, Destiny Dogi, and the team just gave up. Like, I've been in situations like that where you're 2-0 up, the first goal goes in early, and you drop. That's the base what happened. They stopped doing the basic thing. There's no excuse for it. It's pretty bummer, but you go for it. I think this is going to be what you see. Up and down all season from this team.
yeah.
And I'll enjoy the ups.
They're
because
fun. I
don't
mean,
got anything else.
they lead the league in possession. At least last I looked. They're fun to watch. But I think that teams are onto the fact that like you just absorb the pressure and the line stays so high, and Ange has to change something.
But
He
the thing
has
about
to.
that game against Brighton is that's not what happened. Brighton
That's
didn't
true.
sit deep,
That is
right?
not what happened in
So
that game.
this-
Yeah.
and Tottenham are a better team against Brighton for most of the whole first half, right? If they continue that level and that standard in the second half, it's 7-8-0 really,
Yeah.
right? But they dropped. It had nothing to do with tactics. The players dropped the ball. Like, it's just that
Yeah.
simple.
What do
And
you
I think-
I meant to
yeah.
look this up. What do you think Tottenham's record is since Ange said that they were in a title chase?
Well, he said, why not? But not very good for sure. He said, why
can't
aren't
believe
we in a
Derek
title
didn't-
change? But I think that, like, Ange is always, he's a personality who's always going to say, I'm here to win things. And if we're not in a title race, what the fuck are we doing? Which
Yeah.
I appreciate. It's a good change of language between the managers, particularly Conte and Mourinho. But I don't believe it necessarily. I think we're after the Europa League this year, and not the Carabao Cup now because we face Man City in the next round. But
Oh my God, that
Yeah.
was your draw.
yeah, it sucks.
You know who that happened to is this doesn't get talked about enough, but when Graham Potter took over Chelsea, the draw
that's
for
right,
the
yeah.
FA Cup and the Carabao
Yeah.
Cup were Man City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't, like,
It's fucked up.
I think if we can do well in the Europa League, get in that 6th, 7th position this year, maybe like 5th, 6th position, I think it's going to be a success. Like, the team needs another year, in my mind, of just recruitment. I don't know if that's Ange. Like, I would love for us in a year, like after the season, to hire someone like Thomas Frank with a bunch of young attacking players, someone who can actually organize the team in different ways. That's the big thing we're missing right now.
Yeah,
we need
I
an
mean-
evolution to play a second way.
Yeah, I don't see that happening with Ange. And
No.
personally, I hope he sticks around another 2 or 3 years because I don't think he's going to change. And I think this is a dangerous group of players outside of Timo Werner's corpse out there that would perform
Dude,
better with any other
is-
coach than this guy.
What? Dude, he's cooked. It's just he's mentally done.
He does
He's
so many good things, but
Yep.
the last ball is just so bad.
physically like crazy gifted.
Yeah.
Very fast, is really good with movement.
Works for
And-
the team. It's not like he's a bad character.
Yeah, works so hard. Is
When you
like,
said international break, you meant Timo, like where Timo was going on vacation over international break, right?
dude, he like
Yeah, he's just done. Yeah.
in the last 2 games, in the United game and Brighton game.
2 breakaways against United.
And
Oh man, the start of that game. start of that game.
Dude, Brennan Johnson was so pissed.
Yeah, the ball just wasn't good enough.
That cost you a point.
Yeah, no, I think that cost you the game at 3-0. The game's
Dude,
done. Like
that was
the psychology of 3-0 versus 2-0.
Yeah,
2-0
true.
as a footballer, you know if you score early, you have a chance.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man, he is fucked in the head.
That choice is the choice that's the Spursy choice. I don't care about losing a game like that. Like, it sucks. It's disheartening. But Timo Werner is just not at the level. And I understand why, but doesn't raise the level of the team. So, fuck that shit.
He's on a loan with no obligation?
No obligation. It's like a split salary. But it costs no money. So
Yeah.
it's like, would you rather have him or Mikey Moore start away Premier League games? Probably Timo Werner, right? So Mikey Moore doesn't destroy his life. But I hope to see Mikey Moore start at home games when Son's not available.
You know who else was loaned in that position?
Sancho, yeah. Well, we couldn't afford the split on his wages probably, or we weren't going to pay it. I imagine we spend $50,000 a week on Timo Werner. And
I wonder
imagine
what we're paying on Sancho.
Split Sancho, I imagine, is at least $100,000. There's no way he went to Manchester United on less than $100,000.
Yeah.
$200,000 a week.
So the word was that they negotiated a dramatic reduction in pay for him to come to Chelsea.
Oh, I thought it was a loan in split terms on the salary. And then the obligation to buy at the end.
I think that's true for the loan, but then
Yeah.
like when the obligation to buy triggers,
Which is not expensive, yeah.
His salary comes down. Yeah, that was where the negotiation was. Yeah.
Well, you look at Sancho, right? Look at what the change of good management does, right? Ten Hag like trying to play him as like some like running off the ball player, but Enzo's like, oh, he'll play, he'll connect, he'll play 1-2s,
Dude,
right?
He's been so good in
it's amazing what
Enzo's
kind of
system.
what that kind of coaching change
Some
does.
basic level of competency at coaching.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, Villa and United drew. Wasn't the most fun game to
but
watch.
Aston Villa's fucking result on the weekend, 1-0 against Bayern Munich.
Huge.
Woo! Probably
Huge.
one of the best wins in that club's history. Good for them, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude,
Good for
Villa
Emery.
is. You know what's? I was thinking about this today. Like I listen. I'm like when I have to drive into work, I'm always listening to like the Athletic podcasts and stuff like that. And I was like thinking of all the content I consume on soccer. Like nobody hates Villa.
I used to love Villa when Ashley Young was there. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, like they're just this kind of like neutrals love Villa. They don't have like any strong rivalries, and I like the last 2 seasons have been so fun to watch. Like they sold Grealish, they brought in a good coach, bought really good pieces, and it's just like they've really just just put down roots.
That
Duran
Rogers
is
player
crazy too. What?
I think the Rogers player, what's his name? It's like M. Rogers, Mike Rogers. I can't remember his first name. He plays as like kind of a number 10. His dribbling ability is fucking incredible. Like he can just split lines with 1 or 2 touches. It's incredible. Emery deserves a huge amount of credit.
Yeah,
like
he's. Yeah.
I don't know how Arsenal didn't succeed with him really, but they had poor signings at the time. They didn't take their time with
Arsenal
the manager.
was on this they were on this dark path for a while. Like it was just like the wrong time, wrong manager at the wrong time.
Yeah.
I mean, Unai Emery's record for the most part is pretty stellar. And
What's won 2 or 3 Europa Leagues? Get out of here.
Yeah, he's a great manager and doing incredible things at Villa, and yeah, it's really cool to see. Rolling through, we're at an hour, right? Where's the time?
45.
Oh, we're doing great. We're Gucci.
Don't say that word again.
Everton.
Do whatever the fuck we want. We're not here, Luke.
Yeah,
But I
show up here 1 out of every 4 episodes and try to tell us what to do. I don't know. What are the West Ham beat the shit out of Ipswich, which is probably a win they needed. As like pitiful as Ipswich, I think, are, and that might be like what's his name? Kieran McKenna? Is that like he could be like he loves Man United. Former player there, like that might be a shout for their manager.
Well,
I don't know.
If Vincent Kompany can get relegated and go to Bayern Munich, why can't he get relegated to Ipswich and go to Man United?
Why
right?
not? Dude, everybody wanted he was in pole position to take the Chelsea job.
Yeah,
Brighton thought they had him lined up, and then for whatever reason he renewed with Ipswich. It has to be because Ineos was like, if you hold on for one more year, we'll probably give you the Man United job. Or there had to be some reason that he was like, Ipswich is the better job for me than Brighton and Chelsea.
I'd rather be at Ipswich than Man United, though, even if you get relegated.
I wouldn't. Who the fuck would take that Man United job, man? They're like, their squad is ancient too. Like they don't even have like assets to sell.
Saudi.
Yeah. Well, maybe Man. Well, no, because they're not. They're owned by American owners. I was gonna say maybe Man City bailed them out. Like now, just blank checks are written to everyone who's got a state-owned club. But Arsenal got it done after going down against Southampton. Arsenal looked great. 3-1 to Arsenal. Brentford 5, Wolves 3, and one of the crazy... Dude, Goal Rush lived up to its fucking name this weekend. I had that shit on. I like 5 minutes into Goal Rush. I think they were playing City's game, right? Like, I think it was the game that they kept going back to, City and Fulham, which was 3-2 to City. Plenty of goals in that one.
Fulham played really well, too.
Yeah. We should talk about that in a second after I wrap this thought up. But 5 minutes into that game, it lit up at the bottom of my screen that a goal had been scored in 2 games. Like, it was like the Brentford-Wolves match, and maybe it was West Ham, I think, was on at the same time. I don't know. But, yeah, lots of goals in that block of games in the middle of the day on Saturday. Middle of the day for America. Leicester pull it off against Bournemouth. But, yeah, let's talk about City-Fulham. Fulham have been really kind of quietly good after, I think they lost to United their first match of the season.
Yeah, they've been a little bit of an enigmatic team for me over the last, going back to the second half of last season even. But I mean, they've got some talent. They're playing better right now. They definitely gave City a run for their money.
I think they have a good manager too, who's like matured in the Premier League in an interesting way. Right, was at Everton, now at Fulham for a while. Like he knows how to set up a team to compete. Like played with 5 in the back, which is unusual for him. Adama Traore fucking muscling Kyle Walker the fuck out, and then flubbing the chance, of course, like as one does.
That was a bad miss. This game. That's a good point. That this game probably should have ended 3-3 instead of in City's favor.
The XG for this Fulham 2.6, Man City 1.57. So I mean Fulham should have won this match. Pep didn't look happy after this, and then I don't know if you saw the clip, but he went over to Traore and was coaching him. Like he pulled him aside after the game and was like telling him the movements he should. You could tell he was like revisiting that goal and like what he should have done.
I know you've mostly been focused on building yourself into a rugby player, but this is how the movement works for a forward.
Yeah, that dude is fucking jacked.
What do you think? Do you think it's the vegan diet that he's on?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's definitely the
that
secret.
all bean diet.
I don't know. I'm not willing to do any of it. I don't really want to look like that.
Legumes.
Dude is built like a brick shithouse.
Yeah.
Should be in the WWE.
Yeah, no, but so I think, Wolves Brentford, right? Like, I was like worried about, or not worried, suspicious that Wolves might get relegated. Like they look every bit a relegation team. I mean, their defense is absolutely atrocious, and it doesn't matter that they have a couple of pieces. Like that team is broken. And looking at the table.
Well, do you think Gary Neal's going to get fired?
No. They just gave him a long contract.
Derek?
I don't know enough about it. That's a good point. I don't know what happens if they're in the relegation zone in another, 6 weeks, what happens. But I think they're going to be. Looking at the table, I think I would guess Southampton, Wolves, and Ipswich would probably be who's getting relegated.
Yeah.
Who is the defender?
They did have a really hard start to the season. Totti on Wolves is so bad. But they did have a really hard start to the season. Their schedule's been pretty rough, it feels like, if I remember correctly. And I think they play Brighton and Man City next.
Yeah, I don't think they've looked good at all. But if that's who they're playing next, is that right? Let me see here. Well, it'll take forever. Yeah, so they've got Manchester City and Brighton. Yeah, I mean, I would pick them easily to lose both of those.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So they'd have a draw and 7 losses to start the season, potentially. Yeah, I don't know if they're digging out of that.
And what do you need, 38, 40 points to stay up?
Yeah, I mean, right now, Southampton and Wolves are at 1 point apiece, which is pretty fucking bad. But, yeah, we've said this. The bottom is really bad in the Premier League still, despite the parity in the rest of the table and the number of competitive matches that we see. But
So I was looking into this today regarding Wolves. Last season, they were playing... Sorry, I was looking something up related to this. They were playing a 5 at the back. And
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so something... I was trying to figure out why O'Neill has changed that, and I don't know what the impetus for that change was. But last season, when they were playing pretty well, they beat Chelsea home and away. They swept Chelsea last season, which Chelsea wasn't great last season, but they were significantly. They were more of a threat last season, and they were playing a 5 at the back system. I don't know if someone got injured and that's forced them to make this change, but Nori and Semedo are far better as wingbacks than they are as part of a defensive 4. And I think that is the core of their problems. They are so easy to play through and get chances on, and I don't know if they can go back to that 5 at the back system. I don't know what their depth looks like, what options they have.
They lost Kilman, right? Who kind of let him play that, as the center. Kilman moved from Wolves to West Ham.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, and he played that center of a 3 in the previously. But yeah, they're not looking good. I would hate to see Wolves go down, but also I don't really give a fuck about Wolves, so they can go down. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm pretty indifferent. Yeah, you wonder why he's playing this 4-1-4-1 insistently.
I think Gary O'Neill's a good manager. I just think the team hasn't been improved very much over time. It feels stale.
It's not been improved. It's significantly worse. They got rid of him and Pedro Neto.
Yeah, and over time, Raul Jimenez, Traore, all players that really haven't been replaced. Yeah, haven't really been placed. And Jota before that. So that's it's a club kind of in a stale way, Doesn't feel like anything's happening. Nottingham Forest, though, they're looking good. There's some clubs that I have not expected to do as well.
Yeah.
Forest, Brighton is doing really well. Brentford, there's some really good mid-table teams.
I hope Forest drops into the relegation battle. That game really pissed me off this week. Especially the goalkeeper pretending to be dead and then not coming off to even be checked for a concussion. At some point, for me, it crosses a line of gamesmanship and just into utter bullshit. And then throwing Cucurella into the fucking coach, and then everybody wanting to go ape shit. And I'll tell you, the one good thing to come out of that is all the memes of Cole Palmer sitting down, swinging in the middle of the field. If I was his teammate, he's literally the only guy, I'd be okay with that I wouldn't smack around in the locker room after the game, because you know what? Fuck it, yeah, Cole, you're the best player on the team. You do whatever the fuck you want. You don't need to be over here.
Potentially best player in the PL.
Yeah, or
that's what's being talked about. Yeah.
So if he wants to sit there and look befuddled by the situation. Like,
Yeah, he's
more power
becoming
to you,
quite,
man.
quite the meme machine. But Forest did beat Liverpool, right? I think they tied or beat Man United. Like, so they've gotten some results. It's not like they're a bad
Agreed.
team.
Yeah.
And Nuno, like, I fucking hate Nuno, but he is a proven Premier League manager with Wolves. Kept that team up, got
I know you
into
hate him.
Europa League. But yeah, I think that's a good team, actually, with Hudson-Odoi, Elanga. Chris Wood is a fucking joke of a footballer, but, like, fuck it.
His efficiency's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got we talked about how they accumulated all these pieces last season, and now they actually seem to be running into form, which I don't like because I really hate this team. I'm pissed off about how the Geo situation played out.
So high up last season, it took like one game where they fucking tuned us up on the sideline, and you're like,
I'm done with them.
fuck these guys.
I mean, I never said I liked them, did I? I mean, I just said they were good. I mean, I still agree with what
they
Luke
were your
said.
bottom 10 team last year, and you were so into them.
No, I picked West Ham last year.
Oh, okay. And I don't know.
I tried picking Forest, but remember our commissioner fucked up the voting and let somebody cheat because they were riding around a camel in the desert, so they got a pick ahead of me illegally out of order. But I remember this now that you bring it up. I'm not bitter about it at all.
Yeah, it seems like you dealt with it.
I don't want to know anything about what you're just talking about.
Yeah, nobody does. All right, moving on.
This game was, to cover my thoughts on the Chelsea game, disappointing.
Was it at the Bridge? It was at Stamford Bridge.
It was at the Bridge.
Yeah. That's probably the most disappointing part about a 1-1 tie.
Disappointing.
Right?
I thought Noni Madueke was on the edge, like literally right on the cliff for like his shot selection. It was real bad. Like, he was taking shots he had no business taking with wide open teammates in the first half. And I honest to God think that he was right on the edge of being subbed off for Neto and losing his starting spot based on his play in the first half. And then he scored that goal.
Yeah.
And you literally the people the players who were warming up for Chelsea sat back down when that happened, and I think that just salvaged his starting position. We looked really disjointed a lot of this game, and I think that we really should have won it. I think that the header from both Felix and Nkuku should have gone in. Those were crazy opportunities to miss.
Yeah.
And probably show why they're not starting in the PL right now. Or at least that's not going to do anything to change Maresca's mind.
I'd say Felix more so than Nkuku in this instance, or in general too. But
yeah, dude, that Nkuku miss, it was like right guy, right place, right time, and
wrong spot.
Well, it's hard when you're playing at that level, but you're getting substitute appearances. Sometimes you don't get that flow of scoring goals, of being confident, of knowing what you're going to do.
Yeah.
But no, that team looks good. I think Chelsea looks really good to finish, 4th, 5th. I don't think they'll compete with Liverpool, Arsenal, City this year, but they're looking good.
Derek declared that we're in a title fight last episode, and I disagreed strongly with that assessment.
Well, the truth is that how many games are we in? 7?
Derek Postacoglu over here.
7 games in, is that right?
7, yeah.
Yeah, so we're pretty early still. I'd say when we get to 12, 13, 14, 15, we'll know who's competing for what.
I don't believe yet in Chelsea. We're doing enough to put ourselves in a better position to succeed this year. But the errors that are committed are pretty glaring to me. And until I see it all start to more consistently come together, I'm not gonna totally relax.
The goalkeeper, man. The goalkeeper's that's the energy in the game.
Up and
down. You always feel like something's gonna happen,
Yeah. But in this one, he was the hero.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
He
sure.
was
No,
insane.
for sure.
Salvaged
Yeah.
the tie
He
easily.
was really good. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
But I'm saying game to game. I'm not saying like one game.
Yeah.
Throughout a
No,
season.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
He's just so up and down.
Yeah.
The defense is so up and down. And next game, we will miss Wesley Fofana and Cucurella.
For suspension.
Yeah, due to accumulation of yellow cards. There's a big. I think we have a hearing now.
Already.
Yeah,
That's a lot of yellow cards.
I think we
Holy shit.
lead the league in yellow cards by a lot. I mean, it's the youngest team in the PL by a wide margin this season. And I think that, like, the immaturity shows.
I don't know. I mean, part of it's shaded by Forrest, right? I mean, like, for me, it's comical again that Forrest is out here, writing letters and trying to like build these cases against the FA for poor refereeing and shit. But then you see like the on the field behavior, and it's like they should be taking every one of these yellow cards, and then some. And yeah, I mean, I think you're probably right? Like a lot of the Chelsea yellows end up being immaturity.
Yeah.
Maybe more than anything else, mixed in with like professional fouls and like normal stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's kind of a problem in the Premier League in general with too many yellow cards at the moment. But if we're the ones that have to go in front of the tribunal to try and explain that away, then fine, whatever. I mean, I think I've talked about like some of the yellows I think aren't excessive, like they're the right thing to do. It's just that that's the reality. They're changing the way that they're handling these games for some reason.
Yeah. I will say that this fucking ref, he needs to be checked in his fucking head over this. Like, that foul on Cucurella could have
it's
hurt
insane.
him and the
fucking
rest.
side.
Did Williams
God.
Did he get a yellow card for it?
He
No.
got it. Yeah. Chelsea
Did he?
came away.
Oh, Cucurella did, but
and Colwell. So Chelsea
and Caldwell,
came,
yeah, and there was no
came away
yellow
from-
card given to Forrest, right?
No, yeah, Nico Williams got a yellow, and Chelsea
Okay,
got
thank
2
you.
out of that exchange, and now apparently
It's not a red card though.
it's not a red card, but like
Yeah.
if something like that happens, the balance of punishment has to be harsher to Wolves.
I don't know about the balance of punishment. Like Cucurella does yell in the fourth official face. I don't know what he
Yeah,
says.
that guy was being a
but-
little cuck.
He was just standing there watching. If it's not a red card, there's no red card, Derek. Like, there's no. Like, you shouldn't get a
I don't
red
know.
card.
Do your job. Control the game. I don't know. The guy's just standing there
What the
getting
fuck
yelled.
is he supposed to do right there?
Well, I don't know what he did. Maybe he did something afterwards, but up until that point, he didn't do shit because then it blew up.
His wife is cheating on him.
I mean, but like further to that point, like sure, maybe to Ryan's point, like maybe Caldwell and Cucurella did something to deserve yellows, but Forrest certainly deserved more yellows if that was the case. And then Nico Jackson went in and like slapped the guy in the middle of this. So it's like, what do we? So
Did he
what's the
really?
base? Yeah,
Well, he has to go. He has to go answer for that. They're revisiting that. He may face a suspension for that. Yeah, Nico
Did
Jackson
he really go smack
walked up
somebody?
and yeah, that's a
Fuck.
true blue.
That's awesome.
I love it.
yeah. I mean,
Hell
like,
yeah.
like literally
Bro,
slapping a
if
guy
you-
as Cole Palmer
yeah.
sitting Indian style on.
Brother, if you slap a grown man, so good. What are you doing? Oh, you're looking
Yeah,
at it.
he slapped the shit out of him.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking love it. I'm
Yeah,
so
good for Nico.
sad you guys talked me out of getting a Nico Jackson kit this season.
I didn't talk you out of it.
Yeah, next season it's for sure going to be Nico.
Nico might have 2 periods of suspension at the rate he's going this season.
Yeah, that was insane. He should not have done that. But again, it's like a crazy young team.
And with a not an inexperienced manager, but someone who hasn't managed these kind of players, it's definitely an emerging project. Yeah, but they look good. Generally, I think that they've looked all right.
Yeah.
It looked a lot more structured, better in possession.
Even Mudryk didn't look terrible when he came into the game.
Dude, Mudryk looked great in the midweek against whatever that, I don't know, third world team we played. Ghent?
Somebody? Yeah.
It was like a Belgian team, I think.
I think I know what your answer would be, but Mudryk, top level Mudryk or top level Werner at their best?
Mudryk. Well, at their best.
Wait, what? Yeah, at their best.
Yeah.
Mudryk's never
had Werner had one season.
He
won the boot.
And Mudryk's had 0.
Since then he's just.
All right, right now, Werner or Mudryk?
Yeah, I would take Mudryk all day.
Yeah.
Mudryk has
I would just
infinitely more goal involvements this season than
he's
Werner.
looked a lot better the last month. Also, which you wouldn't know unless you're watching these bullshit games like Ryan and I are against Ghent. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he looked good coming on in this one. And
True.
that, didn't he provide the service for what? The header, dude, he carried the ball.
And Cucur's header.
Dusted the right back and played the ball right to Nkuku's head, and he blew it.
That's right.
That was all created by Mudryk. Yeah, he is looking better. I think he's just really he's really dumb. And I don't know.
Yeah. He started finding guys in the slot a little bit more rather than forcing that cross and doing the things Maresca's teaching him to do in that system.
Yeah.
That you see Sancho do. Right. Yeah. So I think he is coming along. And I thought he had stagnated. He is moving forward now. So we'll see if that continues to progress.
I'm not gonna call him dumb, but I think that he has bad decision making.
Frank Lampard called him dumb, and I'm going to call him dumb.
Did Frank Lampard call him dumb?
Yeah, he was he said he's a physical specimen but has no footballing brain or something like that.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's not stupid and dumb, but okay.
Yeah. That's what I mean. He has only Jesus tattooed to his neck. He's not a rocket scientist,
Only Jesus. Well,
only Jesus.
For those believers.
Dude, I don't know what look was crazier, the hair from last year or the completely shaved head. He looks mean.
I'd rather a little hair. I don't like how it looks. It's scary.
Yeah, he looks mean this season. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I mean he's playing okay. Sancho is. I need a Sancho. I am Sancho. Sound bite on my board. Yeah. I guess that's it. I don't know what else we talk about. City won their case. I don't. Do we give thoughts on this? It's what time? Yeah, we're at now.
So, I mean, I think it's interesting that who was it? Newcastle and Chelsea are with them, and my tune has changed a little bit on Pep because I think it's tough because I'd still agree that he's probably the best coach of all time, and I feel strongly about that, and I don't have any particular affinity for him. I think that's just the objective evaluation, but there's some truth to this narrative that he's they say ruined the Premier League, but it is almost like the Premier League's taken a step back in that it's City winning every year, and they're playing this boring ass style and taking away flair or creativity, you want to call it, from somewhat generational players like Grealish and Dooku. But so I think I don't know that this whole City dynasty's been the best thing for the Premier League. I mean, they get a Champions League win. I think that's good for the Premier League, but on the whole, it's just not. It hasn't been competitive to this point. Maybe somebody steps up and wins it with Rodri's injury this season, but.
Well, what do you guys think about Chelsea being one behind them? What are the thoughts behind that?
I mean, the money follows the money, right? Like everything else we talk about.
Chelsea had my guess is Chelsea had a advertising deal by Paramount Plus rejected because the PL didn't want another streaming service other than Sky Sports to be on a jersey.
Or
and
probably Peacock too, I imagine.
Yeah, or
in the
Peacock,
U.S. Yeah.
But yeah, they blocked that, and I think that's why Chelsea was behind them, because they were pissed off about that. Yeah, I think that Chelsea's position is that the PL shouldn't be in the business of evaluating what a fair sponsorship deal is. And Chelsea, I mean, they had their currently Chelsea has no sponsor, so which is fucking weird. It's October.
Looking like Barcelona out there.
Yeah.
Chelsea de Barcelona.
And I'm sure Chelsea would like to, they had that weird infinite athlete, nobody's ever heard of this place, has tight connections with,
arm's length transaction, right?
Yeah, we're not the good guys.
No.
Well, yeah. I think Newcastle and Chelsea probably are both looking to utilize some of the maneuvers that Man City probably used, particularly within, the conglomerate that owns Chelsea and,
It is weird, though, because, Todd Bowley and Badad Eghbali do not have, state ownership money.
True.
They nation state ownership.
They have a fund the size of some nation states.
Not Saudi.
Not Saudi, but in terms of the ways they can bring their diversified portfolio to support another, right?
Yeah.
Bringing whatever else is in their portfolio to pay off Chelsea.
Yeah, it is weird because Roman Abramovich pushed the PSR rules as we know them today, and it's because he knew he had injected the money that he needed to, and he knew he couldn't compete with the state-owned clubs that were coming. He couldn't compete with City's money, so he was in favor of hamstringing it. It's like Amazon was okay with they were a proponent of there not being sales tax collected on online transactions until they started opening warehouses everywhere and had to start collecting sales tax, and then they lobbied to force sales tax on online transactions. It's the same sort of deal. And I think that's maybe short-sighted on Chelsea's part. We're not going to compete with these guys in terms of
well, I think some of it has to do with it being it's not directly related to their PSR violations, so there's probably not much risk in having any effect on that, right? Chelsea's well, we want to be able to do this, and then City's still got to deal with their 115 charges, and this doesn't really change that.
That's actually the most troubling. City haven't lost one of these cases that they've taken to court, and that worries me because
True.
I think they have destroyed the league, and they have cheated, and we have the emails. We know they cheated.
Where's the server of emails? Where are they?
Well, no.
Russia, if you have the emails, send them out. We have them.
Do you know? So, do you know about the emails in Germany or whatever?
I do a little bit vaguely, but
it
was just too close for me not to reference. Sir DGT Trump.
I'm really rich.
Trump. Yeah, they have the emails. Yeah.
$9,240 million.
I can't wait. Making America great again. I do not. I already voted. I voted a few times, so.
Heather was why do you have 6 mail-in ballots?
Yeah,
and
I
6
printed
stickers.
them on bamboo paper, and I
stuffed that ballot box, baby.
Dude, yeah. Yep.
We're off topic, but I love it.
Dude, we were walking through Hampton, and there was this old lady dropping her ballot into one of the absentee voting boxes or whatever they're called, and I was like, Shannon, we're watching her commit voting fraud. And my voice is so loud, she was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, what the hell was I? I'm gonna get in the process of simplifying this because we're right up against it with time. I'm gonna leave details out and not be very generous to City, but there were emails that I think hackers acquired from internal emails at that Man City sent, basically acknowledging their wrongdoing, and that was used as evidence in the UEFA case where they were going to face a ban from the Champions League, and that was overturned on the technicality that evidence was illegally obtained, which is really weird because it's like, yeah, that happened. Like, we know it happened, but, like, because it was illegally obtained, like, now you're innocent. Very weird.
Justice.
Yeah. So, I have concerns that they're going to get away with it and what that means. But that is probably enough for one episode. I've got to get to editing this so people can listen to it tomorrow on their drive to work.
Quick hits from Champions League.
What?
This past week.
What the fuck? That's a podcast.
Ryan doesn't want to talk about Havertz scoring the game-winning goal against PSG for Arsenal, but I'll mention that because Arsenal beat up on PSG. But Brian does like it when I talk about Duran, who scored off the bench, so that that was Villa, right? Villa beat Bayern 1-0. Yeah. So Bayern continues to underperform. Everybody loves that. Villa performing in the Champions League. Good to see that. And then Lille ends Real Madrid's 36-game unbeaten streak. I guess that's noteworthy given that dynasty that's been there. And then I think based on how Calvin Phillips is playing, he'll be a shoo-in for the next England squad. So I wanted to call that out.
I was actually mildly mad at you, but this reminded me of not really, but this reminded me of something. Carvajal, probably the end of his career in that champion. Was it the champion? No, that was the La Liga game this weekend. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that, but he. Luke, have you seen this?
No.
Yeah, I don't like Luke, so I wasn't going to bring it up. But I mean, it's disappointing that I feel bad for anyone that tears their ACL.
ACL tear, fuck.
Yeah, don't watch that, or maybe do while I wrap the episode up. We can get another Luke soundbite. But yeah, you kick through a player, and his at his age, he's probably not coming back. Maybe symbolically, but he's done.
MLS.
I don't know. Yeah, but. All right, that is a pod. Derek, I'm muting Derek, and we're wrapping this up. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Join our Discord, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye, everyone.